welcome to another episode of the Everything Electric podcast, coming to you from the lucky country down under, from Australia. And today I am joined by two really fascinating guests who know a thing or two about not only the global electric vehicles market, but also the specifically Australian electric vehicle market, which is a fascinating case study. So please welcome to the Everything Electric podcast, Sarah Aubrey from Electrify This and Tom Gann from Ludicrous Feed. Our 3 free YouTube channels on EVs and clean tech are funded by our fun-packed test drive-tastic events in Farnborough, London, the Southwest, the North, Melbourne and Sydney, and next up, Everything Electric Melbourne. And new for UK viewers, you can now buy a battery EV and much more at everythingelectric.store. Welcome, both of you. This is so good to have you online. And we were just saying before we started that we almost look semi-professional. We've all got proper microphones, proper cameras. I'm thrilled to bits. It's really good. Sarah, I'll start with you. I mean, how are you? And 2, how is Australia? Just a general.
It's a rainy. Do you know what? We had a 38-degree day. Just to talk about the weather for a second, which everyone I was wildly disturbed that happened in spring. And now it's like a cold winter day and it's raining. Right. I'm like, so it's a bit miserable in Sydney, but one's spirits are buoyed by being here today, Robert. So thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And what about Tom? I'm not sure where you are. Whereabouts are you geographically?
Yeah, I'm also in Sydney, like Sarah, right. Just across the bridge. And yes, it's also raining on the north side as well. Right. But as Sarah said, it was 30s a week ago, and it's like teens now, so 20-degree drop, which is crazy, absolutely crazy.
And the other day we heard from people we know on the Gold Coast, it was over 40 degrees for one day, and then the next day it was raining and cold, which is that's not my impression of Australian weather. That's a bit weird, Yeah. Anyway, yes,
that's it. Must be.
I don't know why we're talking about the weather.
That was my fault. I brought it up. I apologise in advance.
No, it's fine. It's my fault. Can we just quickly do the one I think that is interesting? So a lot of viewers will know, but I'm a sort of regular visitor to Australia. I'm married to an Australian, so I have a strong emotional connection with it. Not all positive. Being married to an Australian woman, it can be challenging.
You get bagged regularly, do you?
She's married to an old pom, and she knows that is extremely challenging. But the one thing I've noticed, I had a long gap when I didn't come because of COVID and all those things, and then other work-related stuff. So there was the longest gap I haven't been to Australia. And in that gap, the previous time pre-COVID, we'd been there, I noticed quite a few Teslas. There was a Tesla supercharging network. That was about it. I mean, there were 1 or 2 European-made electric cars, but it was really rare. It wasn't a big thing. And when I went back, I think in 2023, first time I'd been there for a long time, I was like going around, what happened? It was a really noticeable shift. Loads more Teslas, but also loads of other cars. And that was when my sister-in-law, I didn't even know. She had a BYD Atto 3. She was one of the first people to get one. My niece has got a BYD Dolphin. So even in the family, it's a big extended, lovely Catholic family from Queensland. They had electric cars. I'm going, what's happened to this country?
It's gone upside down.
It's gone upside down. It's mad.
I reckon that jump from even 2023 to 2025 has been really massive. Don't you reckon, Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Like, it's funny, Robert brings up the BYD Atto 3. I reckon that car actually kicked things off. That was launched in August 2022. And because I just recently reviewed the Aria, and the Nissan general manager said in Australia that it wasn't launched 3 years ago in Australia because he didn't felt the market was ready at the time 3 years ago. And Sarah, 3 years ago, it was a different market, different world in Australia, right?
Yeah.
And looking back 3 years, it was only the Atto 3 Model Y, a smattering of European EVs, a couple of Korean ones. But Robert, like now, everywhere you look, there's a different brand coming to Australia, in droves, which is great for us.
No, it's incredible, isn't it? And also the other thing I noticed, because we drove long distances to see people, was the growth in charging, the charging infrastructure. And there was one charger that I went to that was just extraordinary. And I don't know where it was. I wish I could remember, but it was somewhere between Sydney and Albury, I think, or Albury, Wodonga and Melbourne. It was somewhere. It was at the back of a building where there was a fuel station at the front building. And then around the back was the new chargers had been put in. And the one at the far end, I said, I've got to use this one. There was no one using them. And I reversed in, and there were deep trenches in the concrete. So someone had used it when the concrete hadn't set. We found out later from the company. And they said, "Oh yeah, we put up tape and everything. We'd only just laid the concrete, but someone wanted
to need to charge.
Desperate.
It's really easy to park in the right place because they'd done it well. So you just fell into the troughs and reversed.
Just go into those lovely grooves. There you go.
Yeah, and you're in the perfect place. But I mean, that shows that there is demand for it. But that was the most amusing one. But there's far more of that than there was when I drove a Tesla. Around Australia, I don't know when, 2018, 19, and there were Tesla superchargers, but that was kind of it. And that's really changed as well. I mean, that does seem to have grown a lot.
I still think the general public who don't own EVs still think it's not there yet, because we do hear it in the mainstream press a lot, and it's just this constant rhetoric, and it's like, I don't think people who own EVs really complain about that.
No, not Yeah, I mean that's. Sorry, you go, Tom.
Oh, I was going to say, I think Tesla Supercharger network is still the most prevalent network in Australia. It's still the most reliable, which is good. And the fact that they can now open it to all EVs, I think more than half the chargers now work for all EVs. That's made a huge difference if you don't drive a Tesla to be able to charge on those chargers. But I think other networks are also coming. Like today, I tried out a new 10-stall Ampol charger. I know it's Ampol. It's a fossil fuel company, but still 10 chargers both sides of the motorway, 4 pull-through stalls, 400 kilowatts.
Wow.
So it's coming. I think it is coming. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you're right, Sarah. The exact same thing still happens here, and I wish I had the numbers in front of me, but it's like hundreds of thousands of chargers available. I mean, many hundreds of thousands in the UK. And I had a comment the other day. I'd love an EV, but the technology just isn't mature enough yet. There aren't enough chargers for ordinary hardworking families.
They're just for cities. They're just for cities. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, just for cities. Actually, that one is I think the most amusing myth. It's so much easier having an electric car out of a city.
Yeah, because they really thought about the infrastructure linking them.
Having all the people who work on Everything Electric who live in cities. It's much more of a hassle for them to charge a car. It's easy for me. I've got no problems. Yeah, so it's all those things. Anyway, we don't need to go on about that.
But if you got a home charger, that's like the gold standard, right, in Australia. That's like perfect. That's like perfect use case for an EV. Yeah. And Robert, I've done the road trip from London to Scotland in the UK last year, and you got chargers everywhere. I don't know what you guys are complaining about. Every petrol stop, you've got 10 banks of 10, 20 chargers. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, we now have a hub which I went to recently. Thankfully, it was almost on my route, but I just wanted to go and see it outside Winchester, which has 44 ultra-rapid chargers, including drive-through truck ones. So a truck can charge there. Or if you're towing a trailer or a caravan, you can charge without unhitching. And it's got coffee shops. It's got really nice loo. That's for me.
You do those services so much better than us. We just fail so badly. It's like, I feel like they're just crying out for that here.
Yeah. I've been to some. There was a lovely services we stopped at, which we weren't charging, but there were chargers there, and it was all modern and very new. And then I came out of a different door than I went into, and I was carrying coffee. This is an old man fail. This has got nothing to do with electric cars. And I walked, and I could see my wife in the distance. I was carrying coffee in a bun, balanced or whatever it was. And I didn't see the curb. There was a trip hazard. Bang! I went down. Coffee went everywhere. And lovely Australians helped me up, and that is so embarrassing when you get helped up.
Someone help the man up, please. Help him up.
We like to help.
The old man's had a fall. Could you get him up? You don't trip over now. You have a fall.
No, I was going to say, when is that point, Robert, that you have a fall versus a trip?
I think for me it was about 35. It's a long time ago.
It becomes an accident becomes a medical issue, right?
Yes, you have a medical issue. Yes. Oh God, it's not fun. But I've got some figures. Increased market share. EVs now account for 12.1% of all new car sales. So that is EVs. That's not plug-in hybrids. That is EVs, which is it's much bigger. It was 9.6 last year. So it is still going up, but apparently there's been a bit of plateauing in the last few months. But that doesn't mean the sales have gone down. They just haven't gone up as much.
I think we had a slow start to 2025. We were sitting around 5-6%. But I think over the last 3 or 4 months, we've seen definitely a big uptick.
The last
figures
quarter.
consistently over 10%. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 10, 11%. So I think it's looking very promising, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's those new Model Ys coming in, really. They just seem to have bumped everything up.
And
but also, we're seeing a share of other vehicles really filling that gap as well.
BYD C-Line 7, there's quite a few new ones. Yeah.
And that was, I mean, I actually interviewed the man from BYD recently, and it's the amount of service centres and showrooms is just mind-boggling. I mean, I can't remember it, but it's a lot. I mean, I remember seeing a couple last time I was there, and I was going, look, there's a BYD showroom. Like, why was I excited about that?
I think they've done a phenomenal job. Their footprint is growing by the day. Yeah, there's service centers all over Australia. Exactly. It's no mean feat. They sponsor one of the NRL teams here in Australia, and I think a sporting sponsorship is the key to brand recognition in this country, for sure.
Right. Yes, that's true. And also, as we've discussed briefly, Sarah, the BYD Shark, which, I mean, so I've got a nephew-in-law in Australia who drives a ute, and he's sort of comically Ozaz, as my wife would call him. Oh, mate, it's Ozaz. He's lovely. He's a lovely, sweet, gentle lad, but he's a giant monster. He's big and loud, and he's a builder, and he's got a ute, and he swears at his uncle. And he gave me a hug last time.
A shark, do you think?
I think he might do. Yes, I'm going to tell him to. I will see him at Christmas, I think. But when he gave me a hug last time I saw him, I'm pretty sure he cracked a rib.
I needed that back adjusted. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, it definitely clicked the back. Yeah. He's so funny. But I mean, if that would be this sort of, I can see the argument with something like that. I know it's a big SUV and a big pickup truck.
I mean, it is almost as high as my head. That bonnet. It's
just huge. They're all so big, aren't they?
They're quite big.
Look, I'm just not a fan of big vehicles.
I mean, Sarah, you're part of Sydney. You wouldn't want a ute too often, would you?
There
those
are
narrow
a few
streets.
of those sharks in my neighbourhood, and I'm like, really? These are roads designed before the car was even invented, and I'm like, that is bold. That is a bold choice right there, my friend. And
you're making
do you spend your entire life worrying where the hell you're going to park it? Because I would be, but sure.
The weeks that I have like a large car like a ute or a van, I just stress because shopping centre car parks in Sydney just got that low clearance, tight spots. It's just a nightmare. Yeah.
I mean, it's slightly off topic, but I mean, it's something I really became aware of last time I was in Australia is exhaust noise legislation. And I just want to know if there is any in Australia.
Oh, I don't think we have any.
Because we lived on quite a steep hill in Brisbane.
What do you mean? The louder, the better.
Yeah,
V8.
The noise. Sometimes I'd be. Well, it's like if I was recording podcasts in there, and every now and then I was saying, "Sorry, we just got to stop for a minute." Went past.
I find it so obnoxious.
And I was at the back of a house, behind a garden, in a house. Like not. I wasn't on the road. It was it was still definitely loud.
I think for some people, it's their God-given right to be able to produce that kind of noise and annoy everyone else, right?
Yeah.
And we all have to listen to it.
I know.
But there was I think it's changed this year. I don't know if you know anything about there was legislation about emissions, but there is some emissions legislation in Australia. Because up until I think this year, there were 2 countries with 0 tailpipe emission legislation, which was Russia, no surprise there, and Australia. I mean, that was
and
so
do you know what? People are still complaining about it. They still want it gone.
It's restricting my freedom.
That's right.
A lot of pushback against it. And I don't even think it even covers certain very large vehicles. Have I got that wrong?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I think some are exempt, Sarah. That's right. I think even the utes, I think I'll have to check that up. But
those big
it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Actually, I found out the other day, and I was so shocked by this. So ANCAP, which is our version of NCAP, the safety standard, I didn't realise that it's not compulsory. I was like, what? So there's vehicles on our roads right now, I'm looking at you, Ram 1500 and Ford Raptor, that have no ANCAP rating.
Wow.
No ANCAP rating. And I'm like, is that because they just know they would, if it is the hood is as big as my head, maybe it's because it would fail so badly. And even so, you see cult vehicles like, say, a Jimny, 3-star ANCAP. People don't care. They just don't care.
Right.
But also we have the issue, and maybe you would agree with this, Robert, in terms of all the cars you review, and you, Tom. Are you tired of the bings and bongs?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that is the ANCAP thing, isn't it, about that it's just got to beep at you incessantly. I am just...
It's a difficult one. I mean, I got criticised for a review I did the other day, a few weeks ago, where you can turn them off. But I hadn't turned them off because I needed to. It's when you've got a car for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I haven't got time to spend an hour turning off all the bings and bongs. So I was driving along going, this bloody thing's binging at me, and it's just.
But you should experience what the car is truly like. There's no point
exactly, and that's
turning
what
it all off and going, that's fine.
Yeah.
Especially if you.
And there's some super subtle bings that I think are really. So there was one in. I can't remember what it was. A car where when you went over and I was driving in Spain, so I wasn't used to the speed limits. It was a little bit different. And it sort of went like that. And you go, I've gone over the speed limit by 1 kilometre an hour. It was like that. And I went, that's okay. That doesn't annoy me. Then when the speed limit changed, so you were in a 40k and it went up to 80k or whatever, something like that. And it would do a slightly, it was a slightly different, but it was so subtle.
I noticed in the Kia you can turn that off permanently because I'm driving the EV3 at the moment, and I noticed that you can, the speed sign changes. But I feel really stressed.
I think it's a phase we're going through because the other one I've just driven, which is the Vauxhall Frontera, which is really an interesting car. So it is the electric version of the Vauxhall Frontera is cheaper than the hybrid petrol version.
Wow.
And they've done that across so Stellantis, that's their ambition, is that all their electric cars will be the same as or cheaper than the petrol or petrol hybrid equivalent.
I'm so here for that.
But the other thing is they've done they call it a digital detox. So it's very standard looking. It's not an exciting car. It's not fast. It just gets you where you're going. And it's got the screen and it's got sat nav, but it's got really easy wireless Android Auto CarPlay. Just comes on. It's just so simple to use. There's one button that I'm glad they did show me because I would have taken me a long time. You get in the car, you press one button. There's no beeps of any sort. There's lane keeping assistance, there's cruise control, all those things are fine.
No. I have no problem with if I'm about to be in an impending accident.
Yes,
I want my car to alert me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be reprimanded for minor infringements in my car. Oh, you went 1K over the 50. Oh, 1K. No. I just don't. I don't want that.
And some are quite harsh. Like some will really pull you away from the lane, or you feel like someone's actually driving it for you. Like my wife calls it like as if there's like kind of romantic dramas where someone's coming behind you to mold the clay pot or something. But it's not romantic at all. It's just a robot doing it. So exactly. So I don't mind if it's gentle, bit of a nudge. That's fine. A gentle beat. But if it's really rough, I just want to turn it off. Definitely.
But 1K over the speed limit is so dumb because if it's the speed limit's 60. You're trying to keep the speed around, 59, 60, 61. If it was 5Ks over, that would be more sensible.
It might be that it does. I think it might be that if you're fanging it, as my wife would say, then then it does bing. I don't know that it comes in at 61.
No, it
might be 63.
Some of them do.
Maybe
yeah.
Maybe they do.
1K. 1K.
Right.
Anyway.
It must be an ANCAP requirement, right? I don't mind that, but there must be a button you can just, or a link to your profile where you can just go, okay, Tom's here today. He doesn't want this and that. He wants the emergency stuff. That's fine.
But I think the thing is, if you're buying the car, then you'd spend that. It's that difficulty when you're just driving it for an hour. Like effectively a test drive.
See, what annoys me is you have to do it every single time. If I spend that much money on a car, I should have the right to turn it off completely.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Because
pedestrian deaths in Australia are rising. Yeah. Road deaths are rising. Our transport emissions are going up. Primarily it's because our vehicles are getting bigger and bigger and they're buying dirty vehicles. So all these things, plus you get reprimanded for looking away from the road at the screen where everything is in the screen. And I'm like, and then you have to dig into menus to turn things off or to do things that are essential. It's not actually making our roads safer.
No.
And Sarah, you make a good point because who's still ultimately responsible for an accident? You are. I am. Robert is, right? Yes. It's your car. You're driving it, not the company, not the manufacturer. So we should have the right to be able to fix or turn off whatever we want and let it stay off because we still take responsibility if something happens.
Yeah. Yes. No, I mean, that's, and that goes into the whole debate around autonomous vehicles, which I don't want to get into. But I just want to quickly mention my beloved MG4, which I've had for a few years, which is, everything about that car I really like. It's really comfortable. It's got amazing range. It's like unbelievably cheap in comparison with like the first generation of electric cars. You just couldn't imagine, like in 2010, there'll never be anything like the MG4, but there is. But the lane keeping assistant is suicidal.
It's a bit Yankee, isn't it?
Insane.
Yes.
Oh my God. I've been very close to serious accidents with that thing, and you have to turn it off every time you get in, and it's about a 3-button down in the menu item, and that is just, once that's off, I can love it again. But when I get in that car, if I forget to turn that wretched thing off, it is really shocking. Apparently,
when I reversed and there was someone coming down the road, but I wasn't near it, it slammed on the brakes.
Yeah, it'll jam the brakes on.
Yeah.
What, the MG4 was that? Yeah, it's very sensitive. But
so
actually,
Robert,
I'll tell you one.
We just bought the MGS5, the MG4's newer brother. We just got the MGS5 as our second car. And you can now, with the MG software, flick down a shortcut and then just press MG Pilot. And you can actually select the ones you want, and it's a 1 or 2 button flick and you're done. So,
but then it doesn't come back on the
It doesn't
next
come
time?
back for that drive, So it's a much better experience. So I'm sorry to say.
Drive, but it is literally swipe down, boom.
Swipe, push.
So that's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
don't mind that.
No, I wouldn't mind that at all, no. And I think it's I just love the car. That's the thing. When I've done long drives in it, and it's brilliant. It's
drives so well, that car.
For the cost of it, I do take a cushion with me that I've stolen off the sofa, because my left leg rests against the sort of center console bit, and it's like really sharp.
Hard plastic. What a hard plastic.
It's a very hard plastic thing in the way of an old man's knee. So I need a little bit of padding. But
you
other
need
than
a little bit of cushioning there. That's what you need.
I need a little cushion.
Did that cause the fall in the service station? No, that was in Australia, wasn't it? That's different issue. Can't blame MG for that.
Although we were given an MG4, the really crazy fast one.
The X-Power.
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 You just have to look at that thing and you're speeding.
Yeah.
Hunter Green.
That was when we were in Albury, and there were some friends of Judy's that had never been in an electric car before at all.
Did you terrify them?
Well, I just gave them a lift in it, and they said, "Oh, does this go fast? We don't need to do it. It's fine. We're just going up the road. Oh, go on!" They were sitting in the back. That scream could be heard in the other side of Wodonga.
Was this before or after lunch?
Yeah. But they're still talking about it. Oh my God, that car was crazy.
That's a decent fang.
Yeah.
It was stupidly
You totally
quick.
fanged it. Love it.
Yeah. That was a proper fang. Yeah, I fanged it. Yeah. I had a thought before that, Daphnis. Oh well, I mean, let's talk plug-in hybrids.
No,
because
God.
But I mean, what's the thing is, whatever our opinions about it is, the two things that work. The one thing that works is the marketing. This is an electric car that you don't need to worry about range in.
They do like to put the electric E or EV all over them, don't they? To try and
big EV thing,
look like an electric car, which I personally.
But I mean, clearly the sales of those have been. That's oh my God! The first 6 months of 2025. This is the figures from this report. It's seen more than a tripling. It's 218% growth from the same period last year. So clearly,
of hybrids,
it's working. The marketing is working.
Do you think all three of us were in China at the same time back in April? Are you frustrated? Because I feel frustrated that I have seen the future in China. China is the future. I've had a glimpse of what the future looks and sounds and smells like. But it's frustrating that there's all these amazing, especially Chinese electric cars, but now they're having to meet where we are, not where they are. I just wish that we could just embrace, because I feel like with all these resources that are going to go into buying these plug-in hybrids or hybrids, and then people are going to realize anyway, I could have just bought an electric car. And then you've locked in that fuel consumption for all those years, and then those cars are going to be on our roads for all those years. I just feel really frustrated that we just haven't made that full step, or that some people think, I'm not quite there yet, I'm not quite sure. But I feel like there's a lot of narrative pushing that fear still. Would you agree with that?
I think in Australia for sure, we have this perception that we're still a very big country and that we need to do 2 laps of the continent every second day. And that's where the hybrid comes in handy with the extended range. But in reality,
we're across the Nullarbor, towing a caravan
every week. At full pelt, fanging it. We just need. Average Aussie drives 50 to 100 Ks, not even that, 50 Ks a day. That's ridiculous.
It's less.
Yes,
it's
the plug-in
between
hybrid
36 and 42. It's even less.
Exactly.
And that is universal. That is absolutely universal around the world. In America, that's the average mileage. In the UK, it's probably even less. Any European country, that is how far
playing
people
upon the
drive
fears of, but what if I want to, drive across the Nullarbor or drive to Perth or whatever? And it's just...
And it's a very, very Western concept because now the Chinese brands are going global. Every single one of them going global has to create a plug-in line. Everyone's doing it. XPeng, Zeekr, BYD, you name it. They are creating a plug-in line because they know that's what the market wants in America, in Australia, in Europe, in Britain, which is sad. The question is it a transition, plugins, or is it part of our future? That I'm still not sure. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's just a transitional period.
I think it'll be a transition.
I hope you're right. I mean, it would be lovely to think well after my time on the planet that there would be some old plug-in hybrid cars that people polish and look after because they're classics, but everyone drives electric. I mean, that's what, that would be the best outcome from this. But I've got a feeling they might. I mean, I think my motto is never underestimate the tenacity and sheer bloody determination of the oil industry to keep the claws in and to not give, and so they've had to give in a bit. And I think we've seen a ramping up of that simply because of what we all saw in the thing that struck me first, and in fact the most in Shanghai, was the scooters, because that market in Southeast Asia is giant, and it's around 400 million electric scooters on the roads in Southeast Asia and China. 400 million electric scooters using petrol will use quite a lot of it. One uses very little, but 400 million use a lot. There has been a 1% decrease registered in fossil fuel use globally in the last sort of 18 months. It's a report I read earlier this year. So it's gone down by 1%. It's not due to a pandemic or war or any economic. It's down to lack of sales. And that will freak them out, because that's a sign of things to come.
I do wonder why in Australia we haven't. I've literally just written an article on this for The Driven, and I do wonder why we haven't embraced electric scooters and electric motorcycles as much as, say, China. I mean, you do have those fantastic separated lanes, so it's very, very safe to ride there. Yeah. But I wonder if it's e-bikes have sort of eaten into those sales because, there's no insurance costs, there's no registration costs. Right. You get a bit of, illegally modified electric bicycles that go stupidly fast, and you've got a bit of that going on. But I do wonder why we've kind of missed that trick as maybe a second vehicle or maybe your only vehicle. I rode around the scooter for years and I didn't own a car. That was my only way of getting around. Yeah. And it's just this opportunity that we're just sort of missing completely.
No, I think you're right. I mean, that is very. I've not even thought of that before. That is very similar in this country. That there are, in London, there's thousands of electric pedal assist electric bikes. That's really, really common. There are some. I've seen them. There are a few electric scooters. Like as what I would think of as a scooter, like a traditional, like a Lambretta style scooter, but they're electric. But there are very few, very, very few electric motorbikes. There's still thousands of combustion engine motorbikes and scooters. That is still a common thing in London, where generally speaking, the percentage of electric vehicles in central London now is mind-boggling. I mean, it's really the buses are all electric, the taxis are all electric, the huge majority of the cars you see on the road are electric in the centre of London. I mean, there's a lot of monetary restrictions of driving in central London. So when you see, for instance, the Mercedes G-Wagon in Mayfair, which is in the super ultra congestion zone, you have to pay a fortune to. They're still driving it.
They have no problem paying that.
That is someone who is literally doing that to pedestrians and the rest of the
actually,
city.
You had so much pushback when you wanted to expand the ULEZ, didn't you? It was ridiculous. Again, that 15-minute cities, anti-ridiculous, what we call cooker movement of people who are conspiracy theorists and all that sort of thing. But I just think
just
missing it.
Back on the small car thing, I think, living in the suburbs of Sydney, I think we've kind of answered our own questions. We drive big utes in Australia. We drive big SUVs. Half our market is those kind of cars. So I suppose in those kind of suburbs, like the outer suburbs of our big cities, people don't feel safe driving a small car. People don't feel safe riding a scooter or a motorbike because you're going to be up against a big ute next door. Yeah. The Rams, the F-150s, we talked about earlier. So I can kind of see why, unfortunately.
And that, I don't know. And that's a race to the bottom, right? That's a race to the bottom of who can drive the biggest vehicle. And then we're all driving big vehicles and it's still going to,
And people ride SUVs because they can't see with a sedan, like because of the. It's like a. It's, it's just.
And then everyone's driving SUVs. Problem. So then everyone's on the same level.
I love that. It's a towering effect.
I think there's always been a lovely, painful, the contact point between technology and human psychology. There's been a lot of friction there. There's always been a lot of just really bizarre behavior. But that, you're right. I think it's more extreme in Australia and obviously North America in particular, where that where size is everything, and it's less common here. But as I was saying to Sarah earlier, it's the SUVs here, that it's the big luxury SUVs. It's people who are prepared to pay for and go through the awkwardness and the hassle of driving something like a big Range Rover in the center of a city. You go, why would you do that? It's really stressful. You can see, oh my God, you can see how close you are to everything else. And it's terrifying. And yet
you can't park it. You'll just spend all your time stressing about. I'm regularly going to a car park at the moment, and it was clearly built for a different time and cars of a different size. And the scrapes going up these very narrow ramps, and then these cars are so big they're sticking right out, and you can't get the swing to go up the narrow ramp because these vehicles are so big. And I'm like, surely, where is it going to end? Where is it going to end? Because I just really have a car.
We don't have a significant congestion tax. We don't really have a significant polluting tax for cars. You're free to buy whatever car you want in this country without too much reprimand, right? So, I think that won't be taken away from us anytime soon. People will be up in arms if a political party said, "No, we have to tax the polluting vehicles." I mean, it's sad. But,
no, you're not. I think you're not going to win a lot of votes if you say we're going to smash the ute market.
Yeah, quite the opposite. We've got the EV tax coming potentially, right? The federal EV road tax. So it's quite the opposite.
Meanwhile, in New South Wales alone, the health costs from air pollution are $4-point-something billion a year. In just New South Wales, we spend billions upon billions of dollars in health issues related to air pollution. But tax the EVs. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. That's the problem.
I mean, I'd forgotten, as you reminded me of that, Sarah, that I did notice last time I was in Sydney. So I'd been in London for a few weeks before I went to Sydney. And London, the traditional notion, it was called the smoke. That's what you were going up the smoke, meant you were going into London. It was filthy. When I was a kid, it was unimaginable. All the buildings were black. I just thought that's what buildings were like. They were black. So St Pancras Station, which is red brick, was black brick. It's now red brick. It looks amazing. They've cleaned it up. But the air quality in London has, by literal statistics and research and monitoring, has improved really noticeably. And really the last 5 years, I think it's really made a difference. And I think, interestingly, one of the things that really spurred it was COVID. So during COVID, when there was no traffic in London, and I really wish I'd been there. I wasn't in London when that happened, but there's a friend of mine filmed his walk from Belgravia to Hampstead, which is a long way, but the middle bit is just freakish. I mean, he was walking through Regent Street, Oxford Street. There was an ambulance went past, 2 other people walking with masks on. There was no one there. There was no traffic. And the air was like, and he said, listen to this. And he was on Oxford Circus and you could hear birdsong. And he went,
that's the thing,
I've never heard that. He'd lived in London all his life. He'd never heard that sound, just from where BBC Broadcasting House was, the old BBC. But that stayed with people in London. People were commenting, oh my God, it smells like when I go to the country, and that has lowered, the general air pollution. And then I get out, walk out of a house in Sydney and go, a bit stinky. I really noticed it. And I went, and I was in Coogee, so I wasn't in the middle of Sydney. I was near the sea, and it was like, my God, that is shocking.
I remember you saying that at the Sydney show, and Dan said it as well. And I've not been able to forget that. And then when we went to China, remember we could hear the birds everywhere we went. We could hear the birds.
Incredible.
Yeah, Shanghai, the air's so clean. It was amazing. Everywhere you go. Yeah, they really cleaned up with the EVs and the air quality's been really good, actually.
So, and I want that. I want that for us.
Me too.
I think we deserve that. There's no reason why we should be standing next to filthy, noisy diesel buses and huge, filthy trucks and dirt. Like, that's my issue with those really big utes and big vehicles, because they're filthy. They are so dirty.
Yeah, they have big engines. Yeah.
I think the first step has to be electrification of buses. Every time I see an electric bus in Sydney, I'm so happy because I don't hear it. It just silently glides past me. And some of the school buses are now electric. So, I mean, you got to look after our kids first and foremost. Yeah. I've got school-age kids still, so I'm happy to see that. I think that's got to be the first step. Electric buses make a lot of sense.
No, the buses in London, there's now 2,500 red double-decker buses. I think 80% of the population of London don't even know that they're electric. They look like the other red double-decker buses.
Wow.
You know, and there's 2,500 of them, and it's a thing I desperately want to do, is to go to the depot. We are in contact with them. We will do it one day, to see how you charge 2,500 buses at night. You know, because that's quite a big chunk.
Yes.
But of course, where are those buses from? They're all BYD. They're all Chinese. Not all of them. There is one or two that are other manufacturers, but the vast majority are. That was
we are electrifying them slowly here, but it is very slow.
I mean, the thing is that I think that will happen simply because it makes economic sense. You know, that local governments will work out, well, how much do we pay for diesel for 500 buses or 1,000 buses? And it's a lot. And then how much would we pay if we had a solar canopy over the bus depot, which is what they've done in South London? And, you know, you produce some of your own, you know, the running costs are dramatically reduced. And then once you see that, then it doesn't matter about the air. They won't even worry about air quality. They worry about the bottom line, you know.
Or stick a battery by the solar, charge a night with the battery. It makes sense to me. Yep.
Yeah.
Are your viewers aware of the, sorry, Robert, are your viewers aware of the Australian cheaper home batteries subsidy and the massive success this has been? We are now at
explain about
over 100,000 home battery installs in Australian households since the 1st of July.
That is incredible.
And that is amazing.
Since the 1st of July? Oh, my God.
It's crazy. So apparently, every 9 days, a South Australian-sized Horndale battery is installed in Australia just by the rebate alone.
I think that's
it's a phenomenal uptake.
Gigawatt hours, you know, that we've installed thus far. It is absolutely a rip-roaring success. And I know it's a rip-roaring success because I did a post on it a couple of days ago, and it got smashed by bots and trolls. And it was a coordinated effort at the same time. There were a lot of the politicians who are against renewables. We're seeing a lot of that here. All came out coordinated at the same time on the day that was announced to try and sort of flood the zone with anti-renewable information to try and drown that message out. Because that is fantastic good news.
Incredible news, Yeah.
I think we only hit 90,000 last week. It was like, where are we going to be by? Okay, let's lay bets. By the end of the year, what do you reckon? Last day of the year, what do you reckon we'll get to?
Is it still going?
Yeah.
Still happening?
Absolutely gangbusters. Wow. So what do you reckon?
It's about a 30% discount on installation costs at the moment. This first year, it'll decrease every year, but at the moment it's as good as it'll get. 30% off your cost of installation.
I'm laying a prediction we'll hit 200,000 by the last day of the year. This is what I'm putting my hand up for. I'm just guessing.
Because I think it's worth, just because you mentioned it, Tom, it's worth mentioning the Horndale. Is it Horndale or Hornsdale?
I think it's Horndale. I think
it's right.
The Horndale battery was the biggest battery in the world, wasn't it, when it was installed? It was installed by Tesla. It got a lot of PR because of what he said about it.
Yeah.
Hornsdale. No, Hornsdale. Sorry, it is Hornsdale. It's my mistake.
Yeah.
But we've got the Waratah super battery now, which is enormous, which is still powering up as we speak. That's going to be huge.
But the fact that those batteries have outstripped what was for a while the biggest battery in the world in such a short time, I mean, that is it is a really extraordinary thing. And I think it's far more important in a way to have that distributed power storage all over a city. It will make a huge difference. And I think a lot of them aren't they installed with the ability to deliver power to the grid.
VPP, virtual power plant.
That's it.
Yeah. And, you know, I think you're with Amber as well, aren't you, Tom? So we're in the wholesale market, so we're both trading energy. And I think I like talking about that on my socials because I think it's important that people go, oh, you can make money, which means you pay off that battery much quicker, but you're supporting the grid at peak time, which hopefully eventually that will bring down those prices for everyone else who doesn't have battery or solar. So but the demand, the pent-up demand has been amazing. Obviously, we have a huge uptake of solar in Australia anyway. I think it was a third of the country had solar or residential households, one of the biggest uptake in the world, I think. And so
I think I read 4 out of 10.
Wow, that is extraordinary. No, I mean, it's the highest penetration of solar, rooftop solar in the world. Well, that was a really lovely conversation. Really hope you enjoyed that. Tom, as he mentioned, is going to be appearing at the Everything Electric show in Melbourne. Sarah sadly can't be there, but she'll be at the Sydney show in March next year. And the show, as Sarah remembered, is the 14th, 15th and 16th of November in Melbourne. And it's going to be a very wonderful event. I really hope you can come if you're in the area. But even if you're not in Australia, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. It's fascinating what is going on there. The home battery thing is extraordinary. Really worth keeping up with Everything Electric Tech, because we cover all those stories and many more. So please do subscribe. Please do tell your friends about it. And as always, if you have been, thank you for watching.